Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón.
Hello everybody, back with another video today. Today I'm going to be talking about the language learning application Meetup. It isn't a language learning application per se or strictly for language learning, but in using it I found it incredibly useful for learning a language. So today I'm going to be talking about it and telling my experience with it and why you guys might want to download it as well. So I've mentioned before that if you're going to learn a language and it's your goal to become fluent in that language or learn that language, I think that you should be speaking that language. It's my belief that you're going to improve quicker if you're using that language on a daily basis, whether that's with a friend who speaks that language or whether it's an application where you can utilize it. I think the best way to improve is to be speaking the language. And the best way to do this, the best way to learn in my opinion, is speaking with a native speaker of that language, the language that you're trying to learn. I mentioned before that I use the language learning application HelloTalk. It's basically a language exchange where you can find somebody from a different country and they're trying to learn your language and you're trying to learn theirs. Another one is called Meetup. And like I said, it's not a language learning application per se, but you can progress with this application. So Meetup, like the name suggests, is a application where you can meet like-minded people in a group setting and learn a desired task or talk about a different topic. In this case, we're talking about language learning. So I found that there are Spanish-speaking language groups around my city that I've used to improve my speaking abilities. It may not be just for language learning. There's other groups, maybe cooking groups, art groups, different discussion groups, maybe book clubs. But depending on where you live, you might be able to find a language learning group that is dedicated to the language you want to learn. So I've been using Meetup for about a year now, maybe a little bit over a year. And generally it's you meet in a library or maybe a coffee shop, usually once or twice a month, and there's usually one or two native speakers that help to facilitate the meetings. In my experience with these groups, they usually split it up into different capability levels. So they might have a beginner table, they might have an intermediate table, and then an advanced level. So after a few months, you might start at that beginner table where you only know a few words, but as you get going 3-4 months down the line, you can advance to a more informed group of speakers and start to have actual conversations, fluent conversations, until you get to, like I said, there's advanced groups where you could get to as well. So I think the real benefit of a language learning group or conversation circle is the speed at which you'll be able to improve your language capabilities. So getting out of your comfort zone, in my opinion, will help you learn quicker. I think you'll find that if you join a group such as this, if you go into Meetup and look up a Spanish-speaking group or a French conversation circle, German conversation circle, that you will improve pretty quickly and you'll start to retain the information better than you would have maybe in a class setting or from a book. Because I have mentioned before, in a class setting it's difficult to have those opportunities where you're speaking. Usually it's the teacher, she's lecturing, he's lecturing, and there's limited opportunities to be able to speak that language. Whereas with the conversation group, you're speaking the entire time. So basically, I mean, some English is spoken, but 99% of the time you're going to be speaking in your group language. So they might help out a little bit when somebody needs help, but 99% of the time it is in your language that you're trying to learn. I hope you guys have found this information useful, and I hope that you will check out the application Meetup. I think it can be very useful for any of you guys who are trying to learn a language. It doesn't have to be Spanish, any language. I think it's going to really help you guys improve. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.